This is by far the most thrilling horror movie I have ever seen, and one of the few adventure horror films worth watching. Before watching this movie, I always thought The Descent was the pinnacle of this genre, but now I can only say that The Pyramid, released in 2014, surpasses The Descent in terms of desperation. What secrets are hidden in the mysterious pyramids? Perhaps this film will tell you the answer. The story begins in the desert, 250 kilometers south of Cairo, where an American archaeological team discovers a new pyramid. Unlike the known pyramids with 4 sides, this pyramid is unique, having only 3 sides. It is not only older and larger than the other pyramids, but it also has an unexpected feature: a tunnel connecting its apex, allowing direct access to its interior. This discovery shocks the entire archaeological community and attracts media attention from around the world, eager to witness what secrets this pyramid might unveil. Nora, a member of the archaeological team, is particularly excited and eager to explore immediately. However, a strange incident occurs during the excavation when a dog inexplicably barks continuously nearby, as if warning them of danger inside. Nevertheless, the team's enthusiasm remains undeterred. After several days of excavation, they successfully uncover the entrance to the tunnel leading into the pyramid. Everyone rushes to witness the momentous occasion. Accidents happen, but as the last stone is moved, a deadly blue smoke spews out, killing a worker instantly. The news reaches the headquarters, and in light of the recent riots in Cairo and concerns for the team's safety, they order an immediate evacuation. As most of the workers and media leave the site, Nora is reluctant to give up. Seeing all the hard work going down the drain, she convinces her father, the team leader, that she wants to continue the exploration, at least to see what's inside. At the same time, Suni, who is also a journalist, has no intention of leaving. After all, this news is hard to come by. Eventually, persuaded by Nora, Holden reluctantly agrees. However, this time they've learned their lesson and plan to send a robot in first to explore and avoid any further accidents. Soon, Nora's boyfriend, Zahir, operates the robot and enters the tunnel. Initially, everything seems normal, but as soon as it enters the interior of the pyramid, an unidentified creature flashes across the camera. They assume it's just a dog that accidentally got in and continue walking further inside. However, in the next second, the so-called dog suddenly attacks the robot, causing the computer to lose control of the robot. Zahir becomes restless and insists on going in to retrieve the robot. After discussions, they were prepared to venture into the pyramid and then explore its inner workings for themselves. But before they can take action, a local soldier approaches and questions why they haven't left yet. Zahir quickly explains that his robot accidentally entered, and they're going in to retrieve it before leaving immediately. The soldier agrees but gives them only 2 hours. With the soldier's approval, the group, consisting of 5 people, including the cameraman, dons gas masks and enters the pyramid. Little do they know that getting in is easy, but getting out won't be as simple. The tunnel they enter is narrow, just enough for one person to pass through. However, once inside the pyramid, the space becomes vast. The first thing they notice is an armory, which is not uncommon in ancient tombs, but the presence of bloodstains on the weapons is strange. Nevertheless, they did not dwell on it, but decided to move on, taking the one weapon with them. However, when they exit the armory, they are taken aback. The corridors all look the same. They find themselves lost. After some exploration, they accidentally discover a burial chamber where they find the missing robot. Unfortunately, it has turned into a pile of scrap metal. As Zahir approached to inspect the robot, cracks appeared in the ceiling and falling stones caused cracks in the floor. Their hearts race with fear as they stand frozen, not daring to move an inch. They slowly edge toward the sides as the cracks grow wider. Suddenly, the floor collapses. But fortunately, they were only slightly injured, but getting out is even more difficult. However, Zahir, standing beside them, doesn't seem to care. Unexpectedly, before anyone can react, a massive stone hits Zahir's thigh. The others immediately rush forward to help, but no matter how much strength they exert, they can't move it an inch. The more they try, the more Zahir suffers. They are forced to stop the rescue attempt and provide him with some water. At that moment, Suni suddenly discovers a vertical shaft leading upward. She speculates that they might be able to climb out through it, so Suni was ready to explore first. Then with the help of the others, Suni managed to climb up. As expected, there is a horizontal passage above, but when Suni shone her headlamp inside, she found an unidentified creature that looked like a cat. Not a cat. Fortunately, The cameraman below provided a cushioning effect and the Sunni was not injured by the fall. Sunni quickly informs the others that there is something above and that she got scratched on her face. Although she couldn't clearly see its appearance, Sunni is certain that it's not a dog. As the group wonders what to do next, Holden discovers a stone door with carvings of soldiers wielding weapons, as if warning trespassers not to proceed. To ensure safety, Holden suggests that they wait in place, as the soldiers above might come to rescue them after the 2-hour time frame. However, Nora and Sunni argue that Zahir cannot hold on for that long and they must take a risk. Perhaps this door is the way out. Having no choice, Holden opened the stone door, revealing a narrow passage. Before departing, Nora tearfully says goodbye to Zahir, urging him to stay strong and promising to come back for him as soon as they find an exit. Zahir remains silent, more of a farewell than a placating word. As expected, not long after they enter the passage, they hear Zahir's screams of agony. When they return, Zahir is nowhere to be found, only his leg pinned under the giant stone and a chilling trail of blood leading back to the vertical shaft. Now everyone starts to panic. Holden tries to comfort Nora, telling her that now is not the time to be sad and that they must find a way to leave immediately. At this moment, Sunni also realizes that the unidentified creature that attacked her must have taken Zahir. She even blames Zahir for the whole incident, believing that if it weren't for his robot, they wouldn't be in this predicament. As tensions rise, Sunni gradually loses her composure and gets into an argument with Holden and his daughter. However, since the event has already unfolded, they must calm down and continue moving forward. The cameraman takes the lead this time, with others closely following behind. The narrow passage feels particularly oppressive, forcing them to crawl forward. However, at the rear, Nora had a vague feeling that there was something behind her. When she turns around, she sees several pairs of glowing eyes getting closer. Frightened, they scramble desperately to crawl out. Fortunately, the soldier, who noticed their delay, finds their location and assists them in crawling out from the passage. Without hesitation, the soldier opens fire at the unidentified creatures inside, but the barrage fails to stop them. Instead of attacking the group, the creatures retreat in fear, as if there are even more terrifying monsters behind them. The soldier curiously peeks inside, but in the next moment, their panic intensified. What kind of creature could possess such terrifying power? They crouched in place, not daring to make any sound, until there was no more movement of the monster. Only then did they dare to turn on the light in fear. Continuing to search for the exit, they arrive at a corridor with a row of stone statues depicting animal heads on both sides. Giving off an eerie vibe, Holden accidentally triggers a mechanism when he touches one of the stone pillars, causing the door behind them to close abruptly. Then, quicksand starts pouring in slowly from the mouths of the stone statues. Realizing the impending danger, they rush forward, desperately trying to escape. However, Nora, running at the rear, gets trapped in the yellow sand. Helplessly, Holden turns back to rescue her. After much effort, he succeeded in rescuing his daughter. Sunni, who was ahead of them, isn't as fortunate. She spotted a trap ahead, but the cameraman failed to stop in time and ran the Sunni straight into it. She falls into a pit filled with spikes, and her body is instantly pierced. The smell of blood attracts feral cats and they start gnawing on Sunni's. Seeing this, Holden quickly throws a flare, scaring the cats away. However, they realize that they cannot rescue Sunni. Even the slightest attempt to lift her causes excruciating pain. In the end, Sunni dies. After greeting for a few seconds, the remaining three have no choice but to leave hastily because the terrifying cats may return at any moment. However, as they continue walking, they notice something is amiss. It feels like they have been circling and ended up back in the same place. This time, Holden was once again drawn to the three statues on the wall. After a brief search, Holden accidentally opened a stone door. Behind the door were some strange skulls, and a giant stone coffin stood inside. Could this be a pharaoh's tomb? Just then, Nora noticed a dried-up corpse lying on the ground. It seemed they weren't the first group of people to come here. Next to the corpse, Holden discovered a diary. Nora took the diary and read it, realizing they were a group of tomb raiders. However, it only documented their encounters before their deaths and didn't provide any significant clues. So Holden suggested finding an exit quickly. Suddenly, a monster attacked Holden from behind and ripped out his heart. This sight terrified them. When they tried to leave, they found that the stone door of the tomb chamber had closed. After unsuccessful attempts to open it, they had no choice but to venture back. The photographer stated that they were doomed either way and suggested fighting the monster, even if they couldn't win, to capture the footage for future generations. With that, The photographer bravely began searching for traces of the creature. As a result, he managed to capture something with his camera. He saw a creature with the head of a dog and the body of a human, placing Holden's heart on a scale and then devouring it. The photographer was almost discovered but managed to escape safely in the end. When he found Nora, he showed her the footage. Nora instantly recognized that the creature was no ordinary being. It was Anubis, the Egyptian god of the underworld, commonly known as the dog head. Anubis liked to weigh people's hearts against a feather, symbolizing their purity. If the heart weighed more, it meant the person was impure, and Anubis would devour their heart. Never did Nora expect that this mythological story would become a reality here. Nora then also learns in the wall paintings, due to the numerous heinous crimes committed by the dog-headed creature, it was trapped here by the ancient Egyptians. This means that the pyramids were actually a prison to seal Anubis. The photographer, however, was not in the mood for mythical stories and insisted on finding a way out as the top priority. Nora revealed that the exit was hidden among the patterns on the ceiling. Following the clues, Nora indeed found the exit. As they desperately climbed upward, they were unaware that Anubis was closely trailing them. The photographer from behind was dragged down by Anubis. Nora finally climbed to the top, and before she could catch her breath, she was dragged away by the dogheads who had caught up with her. When Nora regained consciousness, she found herself tied up, and the photographer had already died. Anubis stared menacingly at Nora, preparing to remove her heart. In a critical moment, Nora used the axe she had taken earlier to cut the rope, backhanding the axe at the dog's head. Just as she was about to escape, a group of cats blocked her path. But just when Nora thought her death was certain, the cats directly pounced on Anubis, apparently competing for prey. Nora knew that now was the best time to escape and kept crawling along the exit she had just made. Finally, Nora saw the long-lost sunlight, but her also collapsed at the entrance of the tunnel due to physical exhaustion. Faintly, Nora seemed to see a young boy entering. She mustered the last ounce of her strength and pleaded for help, but the boy ignored her and picked up the fallen camera. Then, at that moment, the terrifying Anubis appeared once again, and the movie ended here.